Ready? Today I'm going to be talking about the benefits of owning Bantams. Now, I want to apologize in advance. I did not make a video last week. Hopefully you saw my shorts, but I did not make an actual full-length video last week because the weather was so insane. We had all this crazy wind and all this crazy weather, and really it hasn't let up much. So I apologize in advance. But we're going to go ahead and press on and go ahead and do this video because this one is very near and dear to my heart. So I will go ahead and tell you, we ended up with Bantams purely by accident. As you may have heard from some of our prior videos, we went to Moss Mountain Farms to see P.L. and Smith. So guys, we ended up with Bantams because a very nice gentleman gave us a dozen assorted Plymouth Rock Bantam hatching eggs. And we took them home. We traveled all the way back to Texas with them. And we had a really great hatch rate, which I thought was really amazing. Really, our Buff Orpingtons, we did not have a very good hatch rate. But our Plymouth Rock Bantams hatched and grew like little weeds. Now, I didn't know that much about Bantams, just because when you look at a Bantam chicken next to, for example, our Buff Orpingtons, they, in some ways, are not terribly impressive, right? And you think they just don't have anywhere near as much to offer. But after having owned them for over a year now, that is simply not true. And here are my 5 reasons why I would highly suggest owning Bantams if you do not already. Here are the reasons why. So, number 1, I understand they are small, and you would think that would be something that would not be of benefit in the chicken world, but you would be wrong. In this way, size matters, and smaller is in so many ways better. So, one of the reasons I really like these guys is because they're very inexpensive to feed. I've already mentioned this in a video prior when I talk about how to choose the best chicken for you. I will link that at the end so that if you want to watch that one as well, you can, just for further information. They're very cheap to feed, and considering how expensive feed is these days and how much our Buff Orpingtons go through feed, it's insane. I mean, like, this winter, guys, is going to be really expensive. But Bantams hardly eat anything, especially raising them out. So I'm going to show you the difference. Right now in our brooder, we have the same aged Bantam as we do Buff Orpington, and guys, the size alone is insanely different. Number 2, again, size-wise, because they are so small, they do not need anywhere near as much space. So if you are, for example, you only have an acre and you want to have chickens, you may not want to take up a ton of space with a really big coop. And if you have Bantams, you can have quite a few Bantams in not a very large amount of space. And so that is of great benefit. You can have a very small coop and still have a few Bantam chickens. They do not need too much space. So one more reason I think you should consider getting Bantams is because of their temperament. They are extremely sweet and usually very friendly birds. When we brought these into the coops and I started sitting with them and spending time with them, they immediately were just curious and wanted to get close to us. You want to be able to send, your children out to the coops to collect eggs and feed them and care for them. You don't want chickens that are going to scare them or potentially hurt them. These are definitely child safe. And so if you want to have family pets that also lay eggs, then you should definitely consider Bantams as a really good option. They make really great chickens. So obviously one of the downsides is if you want to eat them, they are kind of small. But eggs-wise, guys, they lay eggs just as many and just as delicious as all the other hens. Now, you might have to you might have to eat 2 of them for recipes, but I consider price-wise what you're getting for what you're paying to feed a Bantam. I should really do a direct price comparison. It might hurt me, because then I won't want my Buff Orpingtons, because I'm going to realize how expensive they are. I might get brave one day and see the actual price comparison, what it costs to keep our Orpingtons in comparison to our Bantams, and then see how much money they make. So, and one of the other reasons that I would definitely consider getting Bantams is especially if you have children that want to be an FFA. So, chickens are a great way to start anyway with a child who wants to be an FFA. They're very easily handled. They're not terribly expensive, so you don't have to worry, what if my $1,000 sheep dies during the winter? And Bantams are the absolute best for beginners because, again, their size. It's not intimidating. They're easily handled. They're super friendly. I highly recommend Bantams for beginning children who want to be an FFA. Okay guys, so I am in here with our buff Plymouth Rock Bantams. We have 3 colors that we kept. And we are right next door to a very large but juvenile buff Orpington rooster. He's by himself temporarily while his hens grow up big enough to be put into the same coop with him. So we've got our absolutely gorgeous buff Bantams in here. We have a trio because that's what hatched out, and I just want y'all to be able to see the size comparison between them and our Orpington rooster here. He eats more than all 3 of these Bantams combined. When we start talking about sale prices, I can sell a trio of these Bantams for at least $150, and the price to get them to full size where they're ready to be sold can't even be compared to the price I will pay to get one of these Orpingtons to full size. Again guys, if I think about it too much, I will just be a Bantam chicken farmer. But I just want you to see the size difference between this chicken right here and this one, because they are within a few days the same age. And I just want you to see them next to each other. Okay? Here is my Bantam hen, and here is my Orpington hen. I mean, literally, when I stuck these in together, if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to link it at the end. We ended up with just one Bantam, and so we had to stick her in with the Orpingtons just so that she wouldn't be alone. She treated them like they were her mother hens, and they're the same age. They just grow huge and a lot faster. Also, these babies mature a lot faster, and so they start laying eggs a lot sooner than your Orpingtons do. Specifically, my white Plymouth Rock Bantams were the first ones to start laying out of that group that we got from P. Allen Smith.